to Make It Nice, the podcast where we spin yarns about reality TV to forget about the reality in which we live. I'm Hayley.
I'm Katie. I don't know why I did that weird voice, but I'm Katie.
I'm Hayley.
We're clearly in a punchy mood today, so this is going to make for some fun recording.
So fun. So fun. Katie, what are you making?
What am I making? Well, unrelated to this beloved vlog that we are filming at this moment, I will be making chocolate donuts this week. Yeah.
What?
So, yeah.
Like,
so I'm excited about
how? What?
Like baked donuts. So I have a donut pan and I'm gonna bake it, and then I'm gonna make like a chocolate glaze to go on top. I took Friday off just for funsies, so I'm gonna start it by making donuts, and then maybe I'll have some coffee, and then I don't know, the world's my oyster.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Yeah. But in terms of like physically right now, you may see me waving things around. These are my colored pencils. I am sketching. So just kind of doing cutesy little things that make me happy, which right now are tulips because the weather in Arlington is in the 60s today.
OMG. It's spring. Springtime.
Yes. I woke up this morning and I heard bird song. Bird song. Yeah. Wow. So I woke up in a good mood, and then I went for a run and really enjoyed like the nice weather, although I got really sweaty because it was like 50 degrees this morning. So it was wonderful. So I am creating lots of things and trying to take stock of like the wonderful things that are happening around us because there aren't many.
Optimism.
What are you crafting? Chocolate donuts.
Man, I wish. A few weeks ago I made blueberry lime muffins. And I put half the batch in the freezer, and so I took the frozen batch out of the freezer yesterday. If that counts.
It does. It does. So proud of you freezing your baked goods.
I know. Well, when I live like on my own and I can't have like I don't have people to share with, aka I don't have people to not let me eat entire batches of baked goods. Yeah. I have to put it in the freezer.
I made a huge batch of oatmeal cookies last week, oatmeal chocolate chip. And I just drove them around to people. I was like, I can't have, because I already had some in my freezer. I just like needed to bake something because that's how I relieve stress in my life. And I was like, nah, I don't have room now for these things. So I had to like drive them around.
I think we had that same conversation last time we did this. So. It's the same thing.
I am nothing if not consistent.
No, we love it. We love it.
Oh my gosh. What are you making other than defrosting delicious muffins?
So just as you were baking and driving around baked goods last week, I am working on the same sweater as I was last time.
Loud.
I haven't worked on it since we spoke last because I've been working on some other projects. But those I cannot work on while we speak because one is too complicated, and two, the other one is for you in my like 6-7 month delayed gifts to you and Brian.
That's okay. Time in the panini, which is now what I'm calling the pandemic because I'm sick of it. Time in the panini is a flat circle. So did we get engaged in November? Yes. Was it also yesterday? Yes. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know, it's so funny. Like obviously I have school and like the semesters to kind of put some time, like long-term structure into my life. But the only other like long-term thing I have is like, so one of the other things I've been knitting is my friend is getting married in 2020, well, next year, 2022.
Yeah.
And we're like knitting socks for her wedding party.
Oh, I love that.
But it's so weird to conceptualize like a date to do something that
Yeah.
far in advance, because that's
Yes.
like, what is time?
Yeah.
Like, and
Yes.
she's
What
like
is time?
planning a wedding, and I'm like,
That's
like, this is so exciting, but like, I don't know how to conceptualize planning anything in advance.
no. And especially like, so one of my friends has rescheduled her wedding 4 times
Oh.
now. She was supposed to get married last June. And like, it's not good. And like, so my sister is also wedding planning, and she's planning for a specific date next year. I'm like, that's fucking ballsy, because I don't trust anything. So
I know. It's so hard. It's so hard. I don't know
yeah.
how people do it. Like, just mentally, I don't know how people do it.
No,
Is it stressful enough just planning a wedding? I don't know how you deal with like all of this.
not knowing if it's ever gonna happen.
I know. Like, I'm hoping by like, I mean, I think she's getting married like next spring. So I think
Okay.
by then things will probably be a little better, or like better than it is
Hopefully.
now.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully at least more people will be
Vaccinated.
vaccinated, or at
Yeah.
least in all states except for New York, because there like are no vaccines here.
Same. We're not even through 1B yet, or 1A in Virginia. So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't kept up with any of it because I am never gonna get
right.
vaccinated, but, like,
Right.
my grandparents have at least gotten 1
Oh,
dose, and
good.
so has my mom and my aunt who are teachers, but other
Good.
than that, I'm like, it's been, like, a total shit show just to get, like, older people vaccinated,
Yeah.
like, it's so difficult, like, my grandma was telling me that she like signed up for like a CVS text
Hmm.
alert, and that's how she was able to do it. But like, then you had to fill out all this paperwork online, and if you call,
Yeah.
like no one answers, and like they fill up within minutes, and it's like older people who need the vaccine are not that tech savvy.
No.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah. A friend sent me a link to like a vaccine thing yesterday, and we were like, is this legit? Where is this from? So it's like there's so much like uncertainty too. And it's like the desperation is real, and there are not clear communications coming from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very frustrating. And this has been Vaccine Corner.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So anyway, that's what I've been making.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot else. Um, that's it.
I mean, oh, another thing I've been doing. So one of my friends from work, who we got Max from, she's a wonderful, crazy lady, drove to my house a couple months ago. Like, we had full masks on, standing outside, didn't even come into contact. And she dropped off this bag full of chocolate and old Cook's Illustrated magazines.
Oh my gosh.
So I have been going through and like picking out recipes.
That
And
is
like,
so fun.
isn't it fun? And it's just like, what am I gonna make next? The ultimate sticky bun? Perhaps. Irish soda bread? Maybe for St. Patrick's Day. It's so exciting. Yeah, so that's another detour on the like things that we're doing to use our brains creatively stop of this vlog.
Have you made any of the recipes yet?
No, not yet. Yeah, I'm like, I have some sticky notes. I think the first one I decided was, and a lot of it's not all in season. It's part of it. There's a cucumber salad that I want to make, but I need to wait until cucumbers are in season, which I think is like beginning of spring.
Yeah.
Is that now? The birds are singing. There's bird song. I don't know.
I don't know. You and I are in completely different
I
climates.
know.
So, IDK. It is warm here, which means it is 40 degrees outside today.
Right.
So,
Arugula, carrot, and celery root salad with toasted almonds.
yum.
And a honey shortbread. Those were the first three that I wanted to start with.
Ooh, yum.
I'll update you.
One of my mom's former students is like a beekeeper now, and yeah, wait, I have to show this to you. I'll BRB. um so my mom bought a ton of honey stuff to give out for gifts for Christmas, and she gave me this like she makes all of her own honey.
Oh my gosh.
I think you can buy it online. I'll find a link and link it in the description.
Yeah.
But it's oh my god, it's the best honey I've ever had. And then she also gave me some honeycomb.
Stop.
Yeah. Okay,
how have you been having it? Like just plain or like on something?
Yeah, so like on toast or an English muffin, or just like in water, like regular honey.
Vanilla ice cream. Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, okay. Plain yogurt, because I gave up ice cream for Lent. So I'm on day, I don't know,
Sorry.
10 of no ice cream. So that's rude.
Sorry.
To the one Catholic thing that I do.
But on yogurt must be so good.
Yeah, it's so good, because I'm trying to like be healthier, so I just get like the plain Greek yogurt, which tastes like sour cream unless you put a bunch of honey.
I always put honey in mine, or honey and chia seeds, so it's like I'm eating something.
I know, I usually do honey and granola, but I'm trying to be like healthier, so I need to get some like chia seeds and flax seeds and make some nice like yogurt bowls or something.
Acai bowls or whatever. They look so pretty, but like, who wants to do that in the morning?
I know, it's so much work. Should we talk about Bachelor?
We have to.
I don't know. Do we?
Okay.
Well, shall we start?
Yeah, let's do this. I'm just stretching. One sec. Okay, now we're back. So Bachelor is a thing that we watch.
Yeah.
For reasons that these last couple of weeks have been even harder to defend. But here we are, and this is what we do. So we will discuss. So what's most in the forefront of my mind is Hometowns, which came out the week of, what is it, the 22nd. But since we've recorded, there have been 2 episodes. So the only thing that I remember from last week is Heather. Was that confusing? Did I say that weird?
A little bit. Well, no, I was confused. But then I figured out what you meant. Well, only because for some reason, the way that you said that made me think that there was an episode yesterday that I missed.
Oh, no.
It's just been 2 weeks since we've recorded.
Yeah. No, so remember on the last episode, we were all like, wow, we finally picked a day where nothing major is happening to record. And then we stop recording, and then the fucking Chris Harrison interview with Rachel happens, and we're like, what the ever loving fuck is happening? So I guess maybe we can start there and like skip Heather, because honestly, that was boring and I feel bad for her. Yeah, Chris Harrison.
So is this. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. I will step in.
No. As part of the ABC offensive in response to everyone being super pissed that the presumed winner, Rachel Kirkconnell, I said it right.
I know. You told me before we started recording, you told me twice how to say it. And then when you started doing your thing, I was like, oh God, I forget how to pronounce it already. Anyway, go ahead. You're doing a great job, sweetie.
Kirkconnell. I feel like you're Kris Jenner in that Kim Kardashian meme where she's like posing naked with the pearls and Kris is like, you're doing amazing, sweetie.
That's me all the time.
So Kris goes on Extra as like part of the like PR offensive to talk about Rachel Kirkconnell's extremely troubling like history with the Antebellum South and saying racist things and all of the things that we talked about last week. And then more shit has come out because that's how it happens. So Rachel Lindsay, the first lead of color. No, I don't know if Juan Pablo counts. The first Black woman to lead the show in this franchise is a anchor guest contributor for Extra, and she interviews Kris, basically asking him, what the fuck? And Kris continues what can only be described as total fuckery, claiming that Rachel Kirkconnell, not Rachel Lindsay, who is interviewing, cannot be judged for racist past actions. That, keeping in mind, the past is 2018. Like, that is the year, like Black Lives Matter existed. We were talking about this shit. And like, even if it wasn't 2018 and it was like 1918, it would still be racist and it is still wrong. Anyway, so he basically says that the direct, loosely paraphrased quote was it racist in 2018 or was it racist by 2021 standards? And Rachel Lindsay, God bless her and keep her in the closest of embraces, listens to this man say, we didn't know it was racist then, so it wasn't racist. So that happens. Did I leave anything out?
That's about right, unfortunately.
So then the internet blows the fuck up, and rightfully so. Oh, he also maligns what he calls the woke police.
Oh, yes. Oh, huge part. We did.
Huge part, yes.
Huge part. Yep.
So he's basically calling everybody, all of the, the viewers like Hayley and I, like all of you listening to this podcast who watch the show, or even those who don't, people responding to all of these posts and all of this information coming out. We are the woke police because we're demanding accountability and we're demanding that they address it. So he maligns us and continues his, white racist, acceptance of past racist deeds because it would implicate him in his, his own bullshit. Like, we know he was in the Kappa whatever fraternity that's since been closed on most campuses because they were racist and discriminatory. Like, Kris is implicated in this too, so that's where his defense is coming from. So that interview happens. Everybody gets pissed. And then ABC releases, well, no, not ABC. Chris Harrison releases a statement saying that he is, quote unquote, stepping away for an undisclosed amount of time. And no one knows what stepping away means. So there are rumors that they will be editing what's left of the season to show less of him on camera. There's been some conversation about how they're doing the Women Tell All that's already been filmed. I'm not sure what that means, but I think it's
quickly. I heard them talking about how, like, or not them, I just heard on the internet that, like, about the Women Tell All, but they did like a huge,
they just promote it.
Yeah.
And Kris is there.
I know.
I don't know. Well, and I think what shouldn't get lost in this
Mhm.
is Chris Harrison is public facing. He is absolutely the host, and he has been the host since the franchise aired.
Uh-huh.
He is also an executive producer. So even if he is not
Mhm.
on camera, he will continue to profit from this franchise and be involved with it until he is removed from that role.
Okay.
So also important to note,
For sure.
because EPs control a lot of how the show is made and what is aired and all of it. They're really involved.
Mhm.
So now I've lost myself in the rage spiral about Chris Harrison. Oh, he released his statement saying he was stepping away. Everyone, myself included, were like, what does this mean? And then, how do we feel about spoilers? Do we want to talk about spoilers?
What kind of spoiler? Like what
Like, who's the winner?
Oh, yeah, we can talk about it. I think
Okay.
it's everywhere now.
I mean, it's basically everywhere.
Yeah.
Rachel is the winner.
Mhm.
So the question then becomes, as Hayley and I kind of struggled with last week, thinking about Matt, and it's like, you know, he's learning about this stuff as it's happening, and he's confirmed so in a statement that this is all happening in real time for him, and he is engaged to this woman. So some of the things that we talked about last week about, like, we hope that he's taking space to process and deal with his experience, and like feels like he has the resources he needs. Like, this show better be paying for his therapy, because they have traumatized him and abused him so much. It is indefensible, and it is unspeakable, the amount of hurt that they've visited on this person that's making them so much money. So that was really upsetting. And in all of this, so now Chris has spoken and Rachel has not spoken. Wait, let me say that again. Chris has spoken, Matt has spoken, but everyone is like, where the fuck is Rachel? She is at the middle of this shitstorm. Like, what is she gonna do?
Mhm.
So she does something. She posts, similar to Chris Harrison's, I didn't mention this, a little like box on their Instagram with a statement. Some highlights from Rachel's statement. These are direct quotes. I pulled them off. I am very prepared. Quote, I was ignorant, but my ignorance was racist. I am ashamed about my lack of education, but it's no one's responsibility to educate me. End quote. She later goes on to say, quote, racial progress and unity are impossible without parentheses, white, and parentheses, accountability. And I deserve to be held accountable for my actions. End quote. She goes on to say more information, but those were the things that I felt were important that I pulled out. I am not going to judge. It is not for us to judge if that is a worthy apology. TBH, too little too late for me. I'm glad that she accepts accountability, I guess. I don't know. For me, accountability has to come with action too, and she did not say anything about that. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said. I think it sounded right. Like, I think she obviously consulted with other people about like the right way to handle this. Um, yeah, I mean, it sounded good. Uh, Again, I'm gonna reiterate, it's not up to us to like accept or give any
Yeah,
like real opinion of this. It's just kind of,
yeah.
mm, I mean, this is
We
just
weren't harmed by what she did.
right.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree. The thing that stuck out to me was like, okay, this sounds right. This sounds like you talk to people and you
Mm-hmm.
may have learned stuff already. What are you gonna do about it? Also, it's hard because like she can't acknowledge the fact that she and Matt are engaged or that
Yeah,
she's the winner. But I feel like she could acknowledge the fact that she was dating a black man on national
right,
television.
right.
And, like, this isn't just some, like, vague, ambiguous, like, philosophical question. Like, she did real harm and she offended a lot of people, but she also had, like, it's so personal. Like, I also can't, like, assume what Matt's feeling. I
Yeah.
can't I will never be in his position. Um, uh, but I like putting myself in Rachel's shoes, like if I was in that position, like where
Mhm.
I don't I'm
Hurting
not
someone you love that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm not
Yeah.
articulating my thoughts very well, but it just feels so gross.
Yeah. It kind of felt, thinking about it, as, I mean, we know, or we think we know, that they are together, or they are together at the end of the show.
Mhm.
Um, and you're right, like not acknowledging her relationship with Matt as like a nexus of pain for him, I think is really shitty.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I don't know. It's not good.
Yeah. And I've been reading some articles and stuff about this too. Like there was a Vulture article that quoted Rachel Lindsay talking about Rachel Kirkconnell. I did it right. Rachel Kirkconnell's apology. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think that article really kind of hit the nail on the head too, because it's like, okay, cool, you said all the right things. There's no action, there's no like
Yeah.
real substance to it.
Yeah.
And she pointed out, like, I mean, I don't follow any of these people on social media. I
Yeah.
like read stuff when like stuff's happening.
Mhm.
Um, but I guess I don't know if this was before or after the like apology, but
The
I guess
matcha green tea post.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was that a
It
story
was a
or a
story, yeah, because I went
okay,
looking for it. Yeah. So
okay.
she posted a photo of like her mid-afternoon matcha tea with like a copy of, what was it, Conversations with a Black Man in the
Yeah.
background or something.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, okay. Like
Yeah.
I think I read the same article, and Rachel basically called it vapid. She was
Yeah,
like,
that yeah, that's the exact
that
article.
is for
Yeah,
your brand. That is not
exactly.
you doing any active work to reduce the harm that you've done.
Yeah, which just feels so
It's
gross.
so grody.
And I think the part, like I think the part that, like I don't know, I mean, I think there are like, I'm in no position to say that there are levels of, like, uh, like, to separate harm based on different levels of,
Sure.
what's more racist and more harmful versus less racist or less harmful. Like, I'm not in a position to do that at all, but I do think it's really, really, really important to acknowledge that, like, what she did is, like, her patterns of racist behavior are so bad and so harmful. Um, not and I don't want to say that, like, someone else on, like, a different show or something doing it is less bad because it's still super harmful, but it just, like, irks me to my core that, like, part of what's coming out is her, like, bullying women for liking black men, and she's in a relationship with a black man. That is so ugh, again, like, not that
Yeah.
something is where it just, like, adds another layer of, like,
It
so disgusting.
and it makes me question her 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 character, her
Yeah.
integrity, her motives,
Mhm.
because I think people change, but people change with like intense work and personal growth.
Mhm.
And she has not displayed that that has happened in the last 3 years. So
Mhm.
how do you go from attending antebellum Southern, like Old South parties, and previously, making fun of people in interracial relationships, to someone who is now like, it's a 180, it's a total 180. And I don't know her, to steal a Chris Harrison phrase, I don't know her heart, but it's suspect.
Mhm.
And like, we're kind of like, we've we've talked about it, but I feel like now like it's getting a little abstract, but like there is a real person at the center of this. Matt is at the center of this. And he is, the hurt that he must be feeling and the betrayal is a lot. And for another spoiler, Rachel is the winner. They are no longer together. So yeah.
Okay.
And that's, I'm getting that from Reality Steve and some other places. Obviously, we don't know what happens. Can't speak about it until the finale airs. So this could all be speculative. I understand that. But Reality Steve usually is pretty spot on with his sources. Which just makes me hurt for both of them. Like, I don't know. I need to check my empathy for racist people, but I have it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I think this goes back to sort of our conversation before about like canceling versus accountability. And I think it's easy for like basically what Chris Harrison was doing was like, oh, the woke police, like we're just gonna all get canceled, like that kind of bullshit. But I mean, it does take empathy to hold people accountable. And I don't think you have to feel bad about that. I think it's like wanting people to be better, especially people with a platform and people who like have the opportunity to speak to a lot of people and to change. I mean, honestly, even people without a big platform have the ability to like have tough conversations and change people's minds. But it does require, I mean, I don't think it's bad to have empathy for other people because it just means you genuinely want other people to get better, which means you want like your community to get better, your country to get better, like the world to get better. And it requires being empathetic for people to make shitty decisions.
You're right. That's a really good perspective. Because like you said, like I was talking about this over the weekend with Brian in reference to Chris D'Elia coming back. And I was like, I think there's a space, and we don't need to talk about him and what's specific to him, but I think there, like you said about cancellation versus like doing the work, reducing harm, being anti-racist, moving forward, re-entering with better knowledge and better resources. There has to be a space for people who have harmed people previously, because otherwise, I don't know what that says, you know? I don't know. I don't know what the future looks like if we just, and I'm not defending anybody. I don't think I'm expressing myself well here, but like there has to be redemption because otherwise we're all fucked.
Yeah, I totally get what you say. And I think like whenever I think about that concept, like what you just brought up, I always think about like what happened with Aziz Ansari too, because like that whole situation was so just like not handled well by anyone, including like the journalist that broke the story about Aziz Ansari and like how that was portrayed, because like it's just so complicated and it gets into some like consent in more nuanced terms that we're not I don't think we're
not equipped to have these super nuanced.
Well, no, I think we are equipped to have these conversations. I just don't think whatever, like the journalist who broke that story explained it well at all. It was basically like equating him with some of like the worst people. Like, yes, all sexual assault is bad, but it does.
There's shades of gray.
Times. Yeah, there's a lot of gray, and a lot of it is gray. Like, a lot of it is gray. And he kind of left for a little while and then came back with I think like a Netflix show, or I think it was on Netflix. And I think his like opening thing was like him talking about it. And I was honestly like really, really, really disappointed because it could have been a good opportunity for him to acknowledge the harm that he had done, and he didn't. And I think that's the problem. And I think he handled it a little bit, like if we're gonna rank them, like he handled it a little bit
better than someone else.
Than like Louis C.K. who just showed up and was like, "Hey, I'm back now." Like there are levels,
and making jokes about it. He made jokes about his cancellation.
Yeah, but like there are I mean, I totally agree. I mean, it's also not, it's complicated too because uh, uh, like who gets to decide who comes back and
Yeah.
how, but also
Yes.
like I think we need to have a better culture of like acknowledging the harm you've done and
Right.
like you don't have to leave forever, but you can't just
And
like
that's
not
that's what I
acknowledge
meant when I said
that
like we're
person.
not equipped for it, because right now the conversation is all or nothing. There, it seems like there is no room for these more nuanced like conversations about consent or like coming back, or how do you, like, what does that look like? And I feel like we're still at the point of just calling out bad behavior and then not addressing it in a good way. So that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so it's not good, and it's just not good. And in the, in the wake of all of this coming out about Rachel, there have been more instances brought to light about former contestants. Demi Burnett, who was on a previous season, like I think it was in 2019 or 2020, was photographed wearing a jacket with the Confederate flag on it. Hannah Brown attended similar Old South parties when she went to college, and there were some other contestants as well. Oh, she's not from the franchise, but she is engaged to Ben Higgins, who was on the franchise. His fiance Jesse Clark, I think, attended a similar party. So like this gets to the culture issue, right? So there's something just wrong with the culture. I know we're not saying that isn't, but I think I think the way that this is being handled by the franchise and by some white people who are franchise friends, like they're seeing it as a one-off, as opposed to a systemic thing, which is what us woke police have been saying the whole fucking time, is this is systemic. There is systemic racism.
Mhm.
So yeah. Hometowns,
Okay, yeah, let's talk about hometowns.
which are slightly sillier. What did you think?
Uh, okay. So okay, I read your notes before we started recording, but I have to say that I agreed with a lot of what you said, and I was planning on saying the same thing. Bree's mom is so pretty.
So beautiful.
I was just like staring at her the whole time. She's so pretty.
She needs to drop that skincare routine because
I know.
she was dewy, she was even, she
Yeah,
was beautiful.
I know. I know. She was so pretty. Like, that was the only thing I was thinking about that entire time.
She's so gorgeous. And she had a baby, like
I know, like a newborn
a
baby.
newborn baby.
Yeah.
Also, the age difference between those siblings. It's
I know. I know.
like, okay. I mean, do you go off?
Yeah. Well, I mean, didn't she say that her mom was like really, really, really young
Oh,
when she
did
had
she? I
her?
mean,
And
that makes sense because she does not look like she would have a 24-year-old if she was 30 when she had her,
yeah,
like,
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
that was not intended to be a judgment. She is a very beautiful young woman and people can have babies whenever they want to have
Yeah.
them. I just want to clarify that. She just doesn't look like like the typical mother of a 24-year-old. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, it was like as entertaining as it is. I mean, it was kind of
Yeah.
boring. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
I know. The only like the parts that got me excited were the Canadian themed date for Serena, because
oh my
you
God.
lived in Canada. I lived very close to Canada. I grew up near the Canadian border. Loved
Serena
it.
is the cutest person I have ever seen in my entire
Yeah.
life. That whole date, and she was just like giggling, and like she is so freaking cute. I
Yeah.
am obsessed with her. I love her so much.
I love that Matt James thought toques were called toboggans.
Toboggan. I died.
It's like,
He
she
was
was
so
like,
sure
that's
of
a
it.
sled.
I know, he was so sure of it. He was
Yeah.
like, toboggan. And she was like, what? And he was like, toboggan. Like, what the heck?
No, it's a toque.
I mean, I definitely learned a lot about Canadian culture, like living in Toronto, but
Yeah.
I think we also like took for granted how much we know about Canada just from growing up so
I
close
know.
to Canada that like other people don't know.
I was like, wait, it's definitely 11 points on the flag. And Brian was like, why do you know that? And I was like, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then the poutine, I'm a poutine fan, but it looked gross.
Okay, I was
It
gonna
was
say, did it
congealed.
look disgusting? It did
Yeah.
not
And
look
like,
like poutine. It
why
looked
were the
like
cheese
airport.
curds so massive?
I don't know. It was real weird looking.
For people who didn't grow up near the Canadian border, poutine is delicious and does not look as it is represented on The Bachelor. I mean, they got like all of the ingredients right, but the consistency was off. It looked old. Hot cheese curds on a hot fry with hot gravy on a cold day is one of nature's blessings. Serena is just so relatable. Also, I wrote down this direct quote from her where like she's at the evening portion of her date, like with her family, and she's just like, he checks all the boxes, but like I don't feel it. And she's like, am I overthinking? I just want to be out of my brain for like 5 minutes. And I was like, Serena,
listen,
baby, me too. I wish we could just like whoop, pull ourselves out of our brains for a minute, because the world feels so horrible sometimes. And I mean, it is sometimes, but sometimes it's not. And sometimes it's just our brain making us think it is. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. She said that and I was like, I don't know.
I know that I feel like that was such a real, like out of all, it was just such a real hometown, like her conversation with her family, and she was like, it just felt so authentic. And she was like, this feels right, but I'm not sure. And she just, I don't know, it just felt, it was like really powerful to listen to that, because like,
yeah,
it's hard, but it's real.
It is hard. And it's like, so much of this show is like the fairy tale of romance. So people who just profess that they're in love with each other, and then we know that they're not because they all break up 2 months after the show ends. Mm-hmm. And that felt so real, you know? And I appreciated that. Like, that's a lot of vulnerability that she showed. And like,
and I feel like it was in such huge contrast to, I mean, I know we're just like shitting on Rachel this whole time, but she just like feels so like fake to me anyway, like doing it just to be on the show. But that was so obvious to me in her hometowns too. It was so fake. It was like, oh, the dad doesn't know. He's like not sure. And the mom is like, oh, like when you like you're like when you know, like you're so in love, blah 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 blah. And it was like, okay, just like, can you get off script for like 1 second?
Right. It felt so phony to me, that whole thing. And I just like, I've said before, I try to put myself in the contestants' positions. I try to understand how intense it feels, but sometimes I just can't. Sometimes I can't get behind Rachel being disappointed that Matt didn't ask her father for her blessing or for his blessing. And it's like, bitch, you have known him for how long? You had what, 3 cumulative hours with him one-on-one? I just like, sometimes I can't suspend my disbelief. I just can't. And that was one of those moments where she was like, they were sitting outside and he was like, he told her, he was like, I didn't, talk to your dad about this because, I really wanted it, which I thought was a really great moment for them when he was like, that is something I want to do, but I don't want to do it 4 times. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that is totally reasonable. I would have been so happy to hear that if I was in her position, but she was like, sad, I'm not the front runner. I was like, okay. How much of my hostility is because you're also a bad person?
I know.
Hard to know. Another hometown that felt really real to me was Michelle's. I don't know, like her, like they played basketball together and it was so much
Oh
fun.
yeah, that was really cute. I didn't like the students thing. I don't like that stuff. That felt I know it was supposed to be like cute and whatever, but it was like, like obviously they told the kids what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I thought it was sweet. I don't know. I can see how it could feel that way. Yeah, and I get that. Yeah. I thought it was cute.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
also hormonal, so
you're supposed to think it's cute.
I know.
Just an asshole.
Well, and then okay, so another fucking bone to pick with Chris Harrison and this goddamn franchise. Michelle has this really vulnerable moment with her dad where she talks about this horrendous thing that happened 2 years ago. Do we know what happened 2 years ago? No, we don't. You want to know why? Because we spent 3 fucking weeks on Victoria. And it's like, there's this really cool Instagram that I recently started following that I will link in the show notes, or Hayley will, because she is the show note lady, called Bachelor Data. And it shows the breakdown of contestants and how much screen time they have.
Oh, interesting.
Really interesting. And so I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not going to get it right, but we spent an inordinate amount of time on our white contestants this season, despite this being one of the most diverse casts ever in the franchise history. And you want to know why? Systemic racism. Fucking Chris Harrison. Fire him as an executive producer. I'm so sick of it. End rant.
For now.
Yeah, I mean, it'll come back. I think Matt said this in one of the statements he made is, no, it might have been Mike Johnson that made this point. You can't have an inclusive cast and think you've solved the diversity problem.
Yeah, right.
Because it feels like The Bachelor likes to cast diverse contestants as filler to say, hey, we've done it. And then they don't have to show any of the love stories or any of the funny moments or any of the normal shit that they would show in a series in the season. It's just,
yeah, I mean, we talked about this a little bit with all of the shit that happened with Vanderpump Rules too, because
yeah,
like, okay, Stassi and Kristen got fired.
right.
LVP is still an executive producer.
She just got a new show.
Yeah, like Jax was still on. I think he
Mhm.
got fired eventually too, but like Jax and Brittany were still on with all of their shit
Yeah.
that they did. And it's like, and yet like LVP does all of this stuff on the show to like be an ally to LGBTQ people. And
A
it's like, that's
fucking
great.
gay pride parade, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's like, like all of like the really horrible racist and like homophobic stuff that everyone on the show does, like
Yeah, it's like,
you can't just fire the stars and expect everything to change because it's about who's creating the show.
it's
Like,
about the culture.
yeah, exactly. And like it's you can't I mean, it's really similar to like being like building inclusive workspaces too. Like you can
Mhm.
hire more women, you can hire more people of color, but if like the one woman of color you hire is the only woman of color in the room and people aren't letting her speak and are just talking over her and being really disrespectful and like excluding her,
Mhm. Or
how do you
the
think
person
anything
that
is
you're
gonna change?
hiring, you're not hiring diversely at all levels. You're only hiring entry level staff. Like this is I guess maybe less, or maybe there are parallels to like the production side of things, but like I'm thinking in the workplace, like
Mhm,
a lot of workplaces are really diverse at entry level positions, but they're
mhm,
not hiring diversely among leadership positions, which
mhm,
both things are equally important.
mhm.
So it's like, It's so short-sighted because you end up with franchises that look like dinosaurs, which is what The Bachelor looks like right now. It kind of looks like the Old South photos right now, you know? Because it's like, it's this behemoth from an older time that's done nothing to reckon with its history.
Right.
Yeah. And where the culture and where people are now.
Mm-hmm.
Not to compare them and say they're equally bad, just that they're in the same category in my mind of like, and not being with it or wanting to be with it. So that was Michelle.
Yeah. I was listening to you. I was just looking at my phone because I had some notes. I thought I took a picture of this, but not. But that talk that I sent you was a lot
Oh
about
yeah.
Like creating more diverse and inclusive workspaces. And I pre-ordered the speaker's book, but she has a lot of resources online. So if anyone is interested in learning more about like creating more inclusive workplaces and like fighting your own internal biases and how that like affects work and career, her name is Stacey Gordon, and her book is coming out at the end of March. It's called Unbiased, but again, she has a lot of like resources up on her website, and we will link to it in the show notes description.
Show notes. Yeah.
Not reality TV related, but I'm assuming people who watch this show have some sort of job that they can probably help to change the culture of. So
yes,
the work doesn't end, and you can have, I mean, I think this is like what I said before, like with holding people with platforms accountable.
This is a platform.
Yeah, it's not just about like holding celebrities or like reality TV people accountable. You can also have difficult conversations and like try to enact some sort of change and make the culture of like your office better or your family better or like your friend group better. Like it's not just about like telling celebrities to do better. It's about telling like your friends and your family and like your coworkers to do better as well.
Because culture isn't just what you're consuming, it's where you're living and it's who you're communicating and living around. So you have a role to play too.
Yeah. And in I don't have a matcha latte or French tips, but I will casually throw in my school book that I am reading to prove that I am learning about racism. So if you're a school counselor, this is a really good book. But anyway, yeah, I learned too.
So we talked about this earlier in one of our other episodes.
Also, wait, can I just say this really quickly? I didn't have like I have this next to me because I was doing homework. You didn't
grab it as a prop.
I'm making a really bad joke just because I had it next to me and I thought it was funny that we were talking about that. This is only next to me because I was just doing homework.
Okay, fair.
Go ahead.
Also not next to me. But we've talked about yoga, and I think in reference to Kelly Ben-Simone, but reading about like yoga as a spiritual practice, as a religious practice, as cultural practice, and like how it's been changed in Western culture. I ordered a bunch of the Yoga Sutra books. So I'm going to be doing some original text reading, not interpretations or like dissertations or anything. So I'm going to go to the original text. And I actually have been reading Jessamine Stanley's book, Everybody Yoga. And it is excellent because she interacts with the original text. And then she also talks about being a Black fat woman who practices yoga and like has cultivated this really interesting like community online that's really inclusive and really open to everybody of all abilities. So it's really interesting to see how those two things intersect and like incorporating that into my spiritual and my physical practice. So
that is
the things we say to do too.
Yeah, that is so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
I'll look up that book too because it sounds
it's really good. I'll send it to you when I'm done.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yay. Well, I'm going to change the subject a little bit
Please.
and stay on Bachelor stuff that may be happening next week. Can we talk about Matt's beard for a second?
Do you feel positively or negatively?
Okay, I love beards. Um,
He
he
looks
looks so weird. I saw it and I was like, "Whoa."
Brian said he looked like James Harden, and I was like, yeah, he does.
Yes. I was like, "That is a big beard. Like, that is a statement."
Yeah.
That is a statement because he has, like, the scruff throughout the season.
Yeah.
That looks nice, but, like, I don't know if it's because like, his hair is pretty short, so it just felt I don't
Yeah.
know. I saw it and I was like, "Whoa."
You were like not into it.
I mean, I think the more I saw it, I was like, "Okay, maybe this isn't, like, as intense," but when I first saw it, I had to do a double take. I was like, "Wait, what?" And it's not that it looks bad. He just doesn't seem like a beard person. Like,
Doesn't.
he's just so, like not that beards are not put together, because I think, like, they're coming back and they can
Yeah.
be, like, styled and whatever, but he just, like he's so, like,
He's so
put
clean cut.
together, and yeah, he's just so clean cut that when I saw him with a beard, I was like, "Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa."
I had a similar reaction. Honestly, thought it was sexy as hell. I love a man with a beard. I think also it was like trying, at least this is how I thought of it. I was like, is it trying to show that he's been through it? Like he can't even shave now, you know? Because it's one of those filmmaking things where like if you see a woman throw up, she's pregnant. It's like if you see a man with a beard, he's lost his mind.
You know, I didn't think that hard about it, but you might be right.
Hayley, that's me overthinking random shit. No bearing on my life.
That's why we have this show, whatever this is.
How's your sweater? I want to see the sweater. What did you do?
Again, I think I did like 4 rows or 4
Hey,
rounds.
that's good.
You still can't tell what it is because I'm
Are those sleeves?
sleeves 2 at a time. Yeah, it's sleeves.
I can tell what it is.
This is how you wear it.
Oh, nice. It looks like a baby Bjorn.
For sure.
In the time that we've been recording and I've been raging, I've also been making pretty doodles.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
It's just, I don't know. That's all I can focus on.
It
It's like
reminds me of something, but I can't think of what it reminds me of. But it's pretty.
Picasso.
Yeah.
I'm an artiste.
Katie Casso.
Picasso. Yeah.
Oh, this is fun. Okay.
Until next time, friends.
Enjoy TV until you can't anymore. And be crafty.